Water on Mars may have flowed for a billion years longer than thought. The idea of aliens existing on our neighboring planets does seem very scary, but even more intimidating is the possibility of life not existing anywhere else in the universe. That would mean we are totally alone on our little ball, which we have given the fancy name of Earth. The former idea of aliens actually existing isn't that scary at all. I believe that due to the speed with which technology is progressing, we will be able to find a way of communication with aliens even if they don't understand any language on Earth and don't have a taste for art either. Then perhaps we'll be able to form a UPO, that's a United Planets Organization, together. Anyway, jokes apart, the question of whether or not life exists outside of Earth or not has long puzzled scientists and astronomers. The possibility of an alien species just chilling out there could be a potential threat to human life or a potential opportunity for scientific development. We could finally think about moving out of Earth, and we could find solutions to the depletion of resources or learn important lessons from our extraterrestrial neighbors. These are the many reasons why scientists are vigorously searching for signs of life on other planets or proof of Earth-like characteristics of other planets. One planet that has been very strict under scrutiny for this very reason is Mars. Through the many kinds of research of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, commonly known as NASA, scientists have discovered that the current geographical terrain of the red planet is proof of the geographical history much similar to Earth. Why do they think this way? We will learn about it in just a minute, but before we proceed, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for regular updates on the most recent scientific developments. Why Mars? The red planet was named after the Roman god of war, Mars. The Greeks had also named this planet after their god of war, Ares. The Egyptians called it the Red Star or Herdesher, while ancient Chinese astronomers called it the Fire Star. All these names were given to it due to its reddish tinge. Throughout history and specifically throughout astronomy, the planet has been used to depict blood, war, anger, misfortune, and destruction. This concept was reinforced when modern research proved that Mars went through a drastic evolution that converted the Earth-like planet into a barren, toxic landscape that it is now. An article by National Geographic states, "Today, when scientists scrutinize the Martian surface, they see features that are unquestionably the work of ancient flowing liquids, branching streams, river valleys, basins, and deltas." It further says somewhere during Martian evolution, the planet went through a dramatic transformation, and a world that was once rather Earth-like became a dusty, dark husk that we see today. How did this happen? The question remains. And more importantly, what does the story of Mars suggest about the future of Earth? When humans first saw Mars through a telescope in the 1800s, they were much intrigued by the various landforms they saw. Many concluded that the projections on Mars' surface were artificial structures built by aliens. However, thanks to spacecraft, satellites, and modern telescopes observing Mars since 1960, this myth was successfully debunked. Instead, it was found that the projections were actually mountains, plateaus, and volcanoes similar to those found on Earth. In fact, Mars boasts the largest volcano of the solar system, despite being less than half the size of the Earth. Olympus Mons is one of the many large volcanoes found on Mars, and it is at least thrice as large as our very own Mount Everest, boasting a diameter larger than the state of Mexico. Mars alone has one of the largest canyons ever discovered in the solar system, which according to National Geographic is a chasm as long as the continental United States. The historic presence of water on the planet is confirmed by dried channels, gullies and valleys carved deep into the surface. Water might still be present deep within the surface of Mars or in the cracks and crevices of the dried up channels. A study by scientists in 2018 suggested that salty water below the Martian surface could hold a considerable amount of oxygen, which could support microbial life. This is why scientists and researchers are more interested in the time that has elapsed since the drying up of these channels. But how do they calculate this? Dating the evolution of Mars. Scientists use a number of methods to calculate the age of planets and subsequently specific regions of the planet. These methods allow them to roughly estimate the time which has elapsed since a landform changed. One of these methods is called crater counting. As is evidenced by its name, the method involves counting craters in a certain region on a planet, and it is based on the assumption that a relatively new piece of land will have no craters. Hence, the more craters a region has, the longer it's been that way. For example, if a river has just dried up on another planet, the land will be smooth as silk, but if it has been there for billions of years, there will be several craters punched into the surface where the river once was. To date back to the evolution of Mars, scientists have been using crater counting for a long time. Every 26 months or so, Mars and Earth are in a position where the distance from Earth to Mars is the shortest. That means that the launching spacecraft, satellites, or robots towards Mars during this time frame will save the scientists precious amounts of time and great amounts of money. When sent during this time, probes take roughly a little more than half a year to reach Mars from Earth. The images and videos sent back to NASA from these probe satellites and spacecrafts are combined with the research being carried out of the rocks and salt deposits brought back to Earth from Mars via spacecrafts. This has now led to the groundbreaking discovery regarding the geographical evolution of Mars. The discovery. Many spacecrafts and satellites have been helping humans observe Mars for many years now. These include the Hope spacecraft launched by the United Arab Emirates, China's Tianwen-1 and the Perseverance rover sent out by the United States of America. Private space flight companies like the very famous SpaceX are also exploring Mars in an attempt to make mankind a multi-planetary species, as put by Elon Musk. One such spacecraft called the Mars Odyssey discovered chloride salt deposits on Mars some 1.5 decades ago. This spacecraft was launched by NASA. In 2006, NASA has also launched the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, that's MRO, which has since then been given the scientists at NASA high-resolution images of the Martian landscape. Other purposes of this spacecraft include searching for ice and water and finding a landing spot for the Mars Curiosity rover. In 2014, the MRO also filmed a close-flying comet called the Comet Sighting Spring. The recent discovery was made by charting the chloride deposits left behind by flowing water using images from the MRO and the Mars Odyssey. Previously, the data collected had been interrupted by scientists and researchers to mean that the water had flown across the now arid Martian landscape around 3 billion years ago. But recently, crater counting and data plotting has revealed that it is highly possible that water may have flown across Mars around 2 billion years ago, or maybe less. On December 27, 2021, a study based on this research was published in the American Geophysical Union Advances. The research was led by Ellen K. Leask, who is currently affiliated with the California Institute of Technology and has research interests in Mars, spectroscopy, mineralogy, and remote sensing. She has 11 research works to her credit with 54 citations. The study was co-authored by Bethany Ehlmann, a planetary scientist at the California Institute of Technology. What does this mean? This discovery means life on Mars may have existed more recently than previously thought. It also means that there may be underground water reserves or ice still present on Mars. Even if this water or ice is present in minute amounts, it means humans are one step closer to making Mars their new home. And if not, at least this discovery has brought us closer to understanding the history of Mars, something we can study to understand what we must not do on Earth, or what we must do to keep Earth livable. Whether or not man is able to move to Mars is still a mystery. Theoretically, you might say yes, but practically not really. Elon Musk says it's possible by 2030s. However, nobody can say anything about this for sure. Maybe the physics of Earth doesn't apply to Mars. What then? Maybe there are other implications one can take into account before one goes to Mars. But the current research and all that we know about Mars up until now can tell us one thing for sure. If not taken care of, the Earth will end up being the same way, and with the current rates of global warming and ozone depletion, this may happen sooner rather than later. Each one of us must do what we can to ensure the Earth does not become Mars. Whether Mars will become another Earth is up to the scientists and space travelers. We must do our part.